Jonathan Coles from Phillips leads ABHI's HR forum. Jonathan, thanks for joining us today. Jonathan, people are always interested. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background that has led you to be leading the group for us today.
Thank you. Yes. So I've been with Phillips actually 24 years. So a majority of my career has been with Phillips in just about every part of the HR function and every part of the business in the UK and Ireland. So a breadth of experience across a number of businesses in Phillips. I now head up for the last few years the UK and Ireland HR organisation for the UK. So that's really good.
That's great. I tell you, you mentioned various bits of HR function in the company. Quite a few people watching this, maybe at the start of their careers, and their only interaction with HR is probably when they were hired and when they want a pay rise or a promotion. And there'll be some SMEs on here, and big tail of our industry, of course, are SMEs that maybe outsource the HR function and do the absolute bare minimum of what needs to be done. I think it'd be interesting for people to hear about some of the stuff you're able to do in a bigger corporation beyond the sort of kind of nuts and bolts, hiring and firing bits.
Absolutely. I think in big organisations, often you have teams that support, so a talent acquisition team that may well do recruitment for you, maybe an administration team that does all of the admin for you, which I think is really helpful. And certainly in a big corporate, it means that we get to focus on really developing, training and managing our talent throughout the time they're with us. And that's really exciting opportunity to do that as you look at particular learning programs, leadership programs, and think how we can develop our talent so we have good succession planning so that when people move on, we know who could be the successors. So that's one of the most exciting bits of my role. Along with that, I get heavily involved in organisational design. And what does that look like for the future with the right skills and the right capabilities? And then I like to focus on some of the other areas that mean that employees can be at their best. So that brings in the health and well-being aspect in terms of not only physical health, but these days mental health as well. And we start to, certainly in Phillips, we start to go into other new areas like menopause, and areas that maybe we don't like to talk about, but actually have an impact on work and people and how they perform. So that's the exciting stuff that I get to get involved in. As well as you said, still the annual pay review and the annual performance review, which is still a big part of any organisation.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, and in the work I do in the NHS, what our workforce committee is actually called Staff Experience and Organisational Development, which I think captures it quite nicely. And everything you mentioned there, the stuff you're able to do with your organisation is stuff that we do at our hospital, and particularly on the health and wellbeing front. And we very recently ran a menopause awareness thing, attended more by men actually than women, which I think which is probably the point of it. So Jonathan, tell us about the HR forum, the kind of things you get up to, and maybe some of the priorities that you've got in the months ahead.
Absolutely. So the HR forum has a mixture of HR leads like myself from big corporates to some of our small SMEs as well. And we have a big group. We meet 3 times a year. And tends to be virtual now, which works because we are based all over the UK. So we try and have it virtually with maybe one face-to-face, and we get between 20 and 30 HR professionals join that call. So first and foremost, this is great. There's 20 or 30 people in a network that you can learn from. And certainly in our calls, we spend a bit of time learning from each other with some best practice where we can, taking some external industry experts and maybe sharing something on whether it be on the apprentice scheme or whether it be on some other element that's of interest to us. And of course the ABHI has a great name, like I said, we've had the head of the apprenticeship scheme come and talk to us because we are a big trade association that has a big pool. So we've had some really good external discussions. We always cover the topical elements of Brexit, recruitment, COVID at the moment, and we have a legal update as well in terms of what's going on legally that affects us in the wider HR community, but also then within the medtech industry. And that's really important, and we get an overview about what's happening with the ABHI and what they're working on. So it's a really useful forum. It's very enjoyable. and we try to work on a couple of other big projects. So we've done some great work with recruitment shows over the last couple of years with the ABHI branded, which has been fantastic. And now we're working on a skills white paper, which is really just to highlight again, what are the gaps that we see as an industry that we need to meet in the coming years, whether it be things from engineers getting older, retiring, we need more engineers that are also more diverse in terms of female. We're looking at AI. How does AI impact us in terms of capabilities and skills that we need? And of course, as we said, Brexit plays a little bit into that in terms of what do we now have issues with. So that's a big project at the moment. We hope by the end of this year to have a white paper that just helps the ABHI and us as members share wider. This is the kind of challenges we have, and here are some of the options and solutions we think that could be helpful to bridge those skills and capabilities.
Jonathan, that's fascinating. Really interesting stuff, and some big themes there as well. Probably the most important thing for any industry, any sector, is workforce and workforce planning, and we neglect to do that at our peril. Just leaves me to say thank you for all your energy and leadership on what is a wonderful group. Of all our groups, I think this is one of the ones I really do enjoy attending, not least for someone like me who tends to spend his life looking at the industry from 30,000 feet these days. It gives me a real sense of what it's like actually running a business in the sector. So thank you, Jonathan, for your energy, your continued leadership of the group, and we look forward to hearing an update from you shortly, and continue to work with you in the months and years ahead.
Great, thank you very much.